Tinubu. I'm sure a lot of Nigerians will be interested in that very story, where BBC tried to absolve the president of forgery, certificate forgery. Another story here, the headline reads, Lagos to temporarily shut Blue Rail line operations, commences electric power trains on a Monday. Well, you find all of these stories and more in the Matrix newspaper.
And on to the Daily Trust newspaper. It says, Tinubu yet to reconvene Federal Executive 44 days after inaugural meeting. It says, council meetings important to address current challenges, CSOs. Tinubu Shetima on 23-day foreign trips in September. President has different idea of FEC functions. Aid. Ministerial retreat delaying cabinet meeting. Source. That's on page 4 of the Daily Trust. Still on the Daily Trust, it says, come clean on your identity crisis. Obi tells Tinubu, APC warns against contempt. Stop financing budgets with CBN loan, IMF tells federal government. Also on the Daily Trust, it says, President appoints Maida NCC CEO, replaces NIPOS, NIGCOMASAT bosses. That's on page 6 of the Daily Trust newspaper. Over 600 died of diphtheria in 10 months, federal government. Still on the Daily Trust newspaper, it says, bandits kill village head, kidnap many in Niger. Page 26 of the Daily Trust. 7.6 million Nigerian girls deprived of education. That's on page 26, according to UNICEF. And lastly, on the Daily Trust, it says, Israel-Palestinian war, death toll surges to 2,300. 7.6 million Nigerian girls deprived of education, according to research from UNICEF.
Solomon, can you beat that?
That's quite unfortunate. That's quite unfortunate. I mean, there's a popular saying that when you educate the girl child,
you educate the nation.
You educate the nation.
But how just do we begin? Even looking at the state of insecurity in the country, of course, we know that in Africa, most of these parents were not enlightened enough. I still feel that the girl child should always sit at home and learn how to cook and what have you. But I think that we have even gone beyond that level. It has gotten to a stage where a lot of people are beginning to know that, when you train a child, really, you train a nation. Now, we've seen lots of, ladies, women doing well in different aspects of life. So why would they? But when you now look at the kidnapping issue, you find that a high number of girls are regularly being kidnapped. Maybe this can also contribute to this very number given by UNICEF, right?
So are we saying that due to the high rate of kidnaps, especially in the northern part of Nigeria,
believe it has also contributed.
Parents are saying their girls should stay back at home?
Maybe we need to investigate that. I'm just thinking, I hope it is not a situation where some parents have decided to now educate their children at home. Maybe they are getting lesson teachers or teachers to teach them at home.
Well, that may not be far-fetched, if I must say.
Because that number is quite alarming.
It's alarming, 7.6 million.
Okay, let's quickly see what the Punch newspaper is saying. The major headline on the Punch newspaper reads, Atiku Obi protests as BBC fact checkers clear Tinubu. And the rider reads, BBC says documents confirm presidency SU diploma, APC carpets Atiku Obi. Another rider reads, PDP LP tackle Tinubu, say certificate issue tarnishing nation's image. Well, that story is in the Punch newspaper. The page is not really stated there. Another story reads, lower inflation Lower inflation protects poor citizens. IMF tells Nigeria. And IMF is coming out to tell the government to ensure that poor citizens of Nigeria are protected. And just how do you begin to look at the issue where 12.5 kg of gas is now being sold at 13,500 naira? I mean, this is a lot on Nigerians, poor Nigerians, and I just wonder what the government will be doing in regards to this. Now another story reads, EFCC recovers 27 billion naira, $19 million, probes ex-governors, ex-ministers. That story is on page 14 of the Punch newspaper. It's unconstitutional for states to regulate mining, says federal government. That story is on page 19 of the Punch newspaper. Another headline reads, Air Force launches new aircraft, awaits attack helicopters. That story is also in the Punch newspaper. Another headline reads, Ohaneze hails Igboho's release, asks Tinubu to free Kanu. That's the hip-hop leader. Another headline reads, Lagos demolishes structures obstructing drainages. That story is on page 14 of the Punch newspaper.
And on the Leadership newspaper, it says, Certificate Saga, Atiku, Obi, kick as BBC clears Tinubu of forgery. It says, BBC reports a hatchet job. PDP presidential candidates come clean on educational records and identity. That's Obi, the Leadership newspaper. It says, Gaza, Israel forms emergency government as death tolls hit 2,300. Diphtheria, Kaduna records 20 deaths. Outbreak under control in Kano. That's on page 18 of the Leadership newspaper. Firemen, crucial to national security. Tunji Ojo. That's on page 4 of the Leadership newspaper. Procurement fraud. EFCC moves against former ministers and governors. And that's on page 7 of the Leadership newspaper. Tinubu appoints new returnees. Tinubu appoints new returning CEOs for NCC, NITDA, and others. That's on page 16 of the Leadership newspaper. Impeachment. Ondo CJ gives conditions for probe panel. Page 7 of the Leadership newspaper. Don't fund budget with ways and means. IMF warns CBN.
And now the Tribune, Nigerian Tribune, the major headline here reads, Atiku presses on, Obi weighs in, APC hits back. That story is on page 4 of the Nigerian Tribune newspaper. Another headline says, Deputy Governor's impeachment, Ondo CJ writes Assembly. You'll find that story on page 28 of the Nigerian Tribune newspaper. Another headline reads, Mambila Zungeru Power Project. EFCC recovers houses in Lagos, Abuja, Cross River. The writer reads, alleges funds meant for projects diverted through BDCs. Another story you find on page 5 of the Tribune newspaper. Another headline reads, Peace not negotiable in Benue. Army warns. That story is on page 15 of the Nigerian Tribune. Another headline reads, 8 years after, 2 pipeline vandals who killed 7 DSS officers in Lagos convicted. That story is on page 16 of the Tribune, the Nigerian Tribune newspaper. Another headline reads, FG to partially commercialize dams under its 12 river basins. This is according to the minister. That story is on page 28 of the Nigerian Tribune. Lagos to increase blue line trips from 12 to 52 from Monday. That story you find on page 16 of the Nigerian Tribune. And now, this is an interesting one. A headline reads, Fuel scarcity. Marketers unable to load petroleum products. This is according to Ipman. The writer says 6 joint security task force to tackle crude oil theft. You'll find that story on page 6 of the Nigerian Tribune. No to theft funds intervention in private varsities. This is according to ASU. That story is on page 30 of the Nigerian Tribune. Nominations open for 2023 Obafemi Awolowo Leadership Prize. You will find that story on page 2 of the Nigerian Tribune.
And on this day newspaper, it says Obi wants more on Tinubu. BBC says no evidence of forgery. Article differs. President has no identity problem. APC replies opposition as controversy deepens. NUPRC optimistic. ExxonMobil, Seplat, NNPC will follow due process in asset sale deal. Says stalemate is commercial and not regulatory. Still on this day newspaper, it says Bayelsa, INEC assures of electronic voting. That's on page 10. Still on this day newspaper, it says strengthening public security. Tinubu appoints new CEOs for NIPOST, NCC, NITDA, 2 other agencies. Those are the screaming headlines on this day newspaper.
All right, with that, we'll call it a wrap on newspaper review. We'll take a short break and we'll also look at the president's certificate saga. But before then, we'll also look at the the woman that got justice, Bolanle Rahim, who got justice, but want to know how fair this judgment is, where the police officer is to be hanged, and so we'll look at this and many more. So we'll take a short break and we'll be right back, where we'll also bring to you what Obi had to say at that very award press conference. So stay with us.
What up, guys? How's your day going? How are you doing this? I want to believe that you're having fun, right? This bright and sunny day. You know that once you see this duo on your TV screen, we're here to serve you some entertainment.
And of course, entertaining gist coupled with good music won't hurt anybody, right? So here on Super Lunch, we get to entertain you, educate you on recent happenings in the world of entertainment. I am your girl, Eva Grace.
And I am Shegun Delala Adeyemi, the Duke of your airwaves. You know how it is. We serve you good entertainment Mondays all through to Fridays. And that's how we do. We'll take you on a smooth ride of entertainment. So don't go nowhere. Join us every Mondays to Fridays. We love you guys.
Welcome to Naija Plus. Make you not touch that there, make your finger for no. Wetin be your plan for your country, and wetin you sef want make your country do for you. You need to give something before you take something. Now the only way matter fit balance. No be say fowl no plan to fly you, but the power no carry am. As matter dey shele for inside Naija, make you sef chook your mouth, make we build our country. No be every time we go talk things bad. Come out for that corner before mosquito bite your tortoise. Oya, e get as e happen for your area and you want make plenty eye see am, make you hear am, make you for reach authority. You get video of the scene? Send am sharp sharp. Before I forget, now top super screen we dey and my name now Mr. Peace, that MC with a biggie swag. Naija na for everybody. make you not touch that there, make your finger for no.
There's no place for pretense. I can't watch you stand. Oh no.
Ó ta lẹ́nu, ó pọ̀ lẹ́nu, ó dùn lẹ́nu. Bẹ́ẹ̀ ni o, ó ta lẹ́nu, ó pọ̀ lẹ́nu, ó dùn lẹ́nu. Yusuf Olúṣọlá ni orúkọ ti tèmi Funky ọmọ ẹ̀lẹ̀ tó gbásíkì tó dùn tó kí tó yí gbogbo. Ẹ pàdé mi ní gbogbo ọjọ́ Thursday 8:30 to 9:30 àti gbogbo ọjọ́ Saturday 1 to 2 fún ètò tó ga jù. Ẹ má miss ẹ̀, ó ga jù lẹ́tò. Ẹ pàdé mi, ó ṣàprápra.
Lẹ́nu ó pọ̀ lẹ́nu ó dùn lẹ́nu. Come what I cannot do.
Family ties, a thorn in the flesh.
We need to remove him, otherwise we are going to be in trouble. You must kill him today, not tomorrow. Today!
There's a handsome prize on your head. And if you can top it, you walk free.
She's even awake. She's awake?
Will you stop that? And don't you dare repeat that again.
What is she doing?
I don't know.
My son is nowhere to be found and you asked me to relax. I can't.
So we're not going to eat?
You have to eat. Look at you. So you actually want to eat that food?
The way this food is smelling, I think it's really going to be delicious.
Oh my son! Oh my son!
What are you doing here?
I will not let you send her out.
She's your rival, you know.
I know she's your wife, and I know it's not right for you to treat her like that.
You heard me. Send yourself out before I come back to this house.
High Chief Major General James. Good evening.
What is good about this evening? Huh?
What happened now?
Don't mind them. You're not going anywhere. You stay.
Please. Please. What are you doing out of bed?
I needed a drink. You could have called me.
I'm not the father of a thief. And that is what your son is. A thief. Stole the document to my house and sold it. And I swear, he's going to rot in jail.
It's okay, baby.
It's not okay.
Hello? Hello?
Family ties, a thorn in the flesh.
Well, so glad to have you back. You're still watching U45 Morning Show. Yes, we told you earlier that we will bring to you the World Press Conference, which was done by the Labour Party candidate, Peter Obi. We just want you to quickly take a listen for yourself. Like they say, seeing is believing. So take a listen to what Peter Obi is saying, and you can also have your say on the program this morning.
Followed a prolonged identity crisis that recently played out in American court system and the controversy surrounding the authenticity of the Chicago State University credentials of Chief Bola Ahmed Tinubu, I must confess I'm distressed as a Nigerian. In addition to the barrage of media frenzy that the matter has triggered at home and abroad. I have had the unwholesome burden of responding to embarrassing questions about the Nigerian overall credibility as a nation to privileged audience and individuals both at home and abroad in different parts of the world I've traveled recently. To the outsiders, the entire Chicago University matter, as well as Chief Bola Ahmed Tinubu's many other lingering identity question marks, have further worsened Nigerian less than glorious image internationally.
Well, that is the Labour Party presidential candidate, Peter Obi, speaking there. That's the much we can take. However, for you to have an inkling, a good knowledge of what he's saying, the presidential candidate of the Labour Party in the 2023 general elections, Peter Obi, has called on President Bola Tinubu to reveal his true identity. According to Peter Obi, Tinubu should not leave his identity to be defined by his aides, adding that even the international community will want to know his true identity. Well, he made this known at the World Press Conference at the Labour Party campaign office in Abuja. Of course, that is on Wednesday. Obi said Tinubu should save Nigeria from this present kind of embarrassment by revealing his true identity. In his words, I read and I quote, Tinubu should humbly and respectfully reveal his identity. Let the world know your name. Let the world know your name, nationality, certificates. You should indicate clearly where you did your NYSC. If there was a change of name, make it clear. The task is for Tinubu to urgently reveal his identity. People want to know your true identity. A leader cannot leave his identity to be revealed by proxies. That is according to Obi. Obi disclosed that having followed the prolonged identity crisis that recently played out in the American court system and the controversy surrounding the authenticity of the Chicago State University CSU credentials of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, he is distressed as a Nigerian. According to him, in addition to the barrage of media frenzy that the matter has triggered at home and abroad, he has had the unwholesome burden of responding to embarrassing questions about Nigeria's overall credibility as a nation to privileged audience and individuals both at home and abroad in different parts of the world where he had traveled to lately. Yeah, this is where we are. Solomon, this is another call, and it looks like the call is becoming very consistent on the need for the president to step down. But of course, Peter Obi is saying that the president should save the nation from identity, from embarrassment, to come out and tell the public who he really is. What do you make out of this?
Before now, Peter Obi had been silent. You know, a lot of people felt that only Atiku is leading the pack, and Peter Obi should throw his weight also concerning the certificate saga, and he has done just that. You know, I love what Peter Obi has said. Come out. We're not asking you to resign. We're not asking. Just come out and please reintroduce yourself. And I think he's right on course with that, because the issue right now is kind of confusing. A lot of Nigerians are not sure who is the real Bola Ahmed Tinubu. And but look at what the BBC is also saying.
Exactly.
You know, the BBC is saying there are no evidence of certificate forgery. You know, I mean, and that's kind of contrasting to the issue on ground. So is the BBC on the side of the president, or are they neutral? despite what the Chicago State University has released. BBC is saying that there are no evidence of forgery.
And this is where the freedom of the press also, comes in. When you, as a media person, as a member of the fourth estate of the realm, we are not to be used. We are not supposed to be used for individuals' interests. You have to see the overall interest of the heterogeneous audience, the world, the people, the masses, and not allow yourself to be used. And this coming from BBC is it's worrisome. I mean, it's a source of concern, because if we're talking about legal team, they have looked at it, Nigerians have seen it. We've seen the difference between the certificate that was submitted to the electoral umpire, the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, and that which was presented to the former vice president, of course the presidential candidate of the People's Democratic Party, Atiku Abubakar. You also begin to ask yourself, why does it have to be until he took this up upon himself and many other concerned Nigerians to an international court, then he now got justice to an extent. It is worrisome. And let me also read to you what the BBC said. According to the BBC report, some people in Nigeria believe that the deposition and the diplomas released by CSU confirmed that the diploma submitted to INEC by Tinubu was forged. This claim was also repeated by one of Abubakar's lawyer, Kalu Kalu, at a press conference. In their words, I read and I quote, "We found there was no evidence to support this claim," the BBC team said in its report. It added that the CSU released several diplomas issued between 1979 and 2003, and the team analyzed all of them. BBC said there are different diplomas for Tinubu that it refers to throughout its analysis, and these are the original one from 1979, which he said in the past was lost when he went into exile in the 1990s. The second one that he submitted to INEC, supposedly a replacement diploma from CSU. Now, additionally, CSU holds another replacement diploma for Tinubu that they say is probably from the early 2000s that he never collected. The allegations on social media are based on a comparison, according to BBC, between the documents Tinubu submitted to INEC and the 1979 diploma released by CSU. The BBC team went on, saying during Mr. Westback's deposition, Atiku's lawyer focused on the copy of the diploma President Tinubu handed to the Electoral Commission and suggested that it was unlike any of the diplomas released by CSU. Another allegation making the rounds on social media is that the person who attended CSU with the name Bola A. Tinubu is female. But BBC said in his deposition, Mr. Westback stressed that there was no confusion about the gender of the person who attended CSU, as he was a male named Bola A. Tinubu. He said the university used other factors other than the name to authenticate the student's identity. Well, the BBC report, however, admitted that the released document did raise questions about Tinubu's birth date and the secondary school he attended. Solomon, you also remember, I think it was in 1999, the Source, one of the newspapers, also revealed the president then as the governor of Lagos State that his certificate is being forged. I don't know if you can get that paper. And after it was reported, then till now the paper ceases to exist, and you and I can understand. But I believe that the media should be free, independent. We should be allowed to make our voice heard irrespective of whose ox is God. We have to continually speak the truth, because the public is looking forward to us, telling us, giving them the facts. So we can't allow to be used at this moment in time.
Now, the Minister of Information and National Orientation, on his visit to the national NTA, I think that was on Monday, he had said that there will be freedom of the press. But with the way the government is taking special interest in this certificate issue, I mean, I don't know if we can actually say that anymore. You know, I remember some TV stations, I think it was Arise TV, that was cautioned by virtue of what was said by the NBC code. Suddenly, we remember there's NBC code in certain, conversations in this country. Now that the certificate saga is ongoing, I don't think there's really freedom of the press, in my opinion. I don't think so. And with the way the BBC is coming out, in fact, the PDP spokesperson had said that BBC goofed with their remarks concerning
Tribal.
Yeah, he said PDP goofed, BBC goofed in their remark concerning the certificate forgery and how they are trying to cover all of this, saying that there was no evidence. I mean, that's quite appalling, if I must say.
Well, even looking at a media house like the BBC to come out and say all of these, the question you begin to ask is, could it be that they are under pressure to dance to the tune of the powers that be? Because when you look at it, BBC, one would believe that they have integrity and they have been there over the years. So why now? Like, I really don't know how to, but maybe we just wait for a lawyer. We're expecting a lawyer to do justice to this very topic of discussion. There's a lot we really need to dig deep into this certificate saga, because you begin to wonder why. I mean, the number one citizen of the country would have this kind of certificate issue. I think the best thing to do was, like many others are calling for, to step down and let this be thoroughly investigated. But how that will be, only time will tell. Well, right about now, Solomon, we'll take a short break. We'll quickly take a short break, and when we return, we continue with the topic of discussion, as our guest is standing by. Join us again.
Reach to the sky, ladies and gentlemen!
Demand attitude.
I am Salahuddin.
Demand excitement. Demand action.
Some school of thoughts believe the major challenges confronting Nigeria as a nation is caused by poor leadership. How true is this? You and I can actually put government into tools to deliver the dividends of democracy. Join us every Saturday by 11 a.m. to 12 p.m. Let us look at the issues confronting us as a nation together with talk heads. Nigeria can be great again. I'm Adenike Oweye Ajiboye. Keep it date.
It's Humor Hangout with Kofi the Guru, your host with the most. Freaky is a virgin. Why you virginity?
I like food and I eat a lot, and you don't really see my body.
Where's the eat a lot?
You don't see my body. That's a special thing.
What's the female for Philip?
Philip. It can't be Philippines. It can't be Filipina.
Philomena. Paul.
Paula.
Tunde.
Tunde, no.
Like I tell people, it's for you to be great in whatever you do, you have to stay humble and believe that you are a learner.
Have you ever been asked to play a romantic role?
Of course, I've played romantic roles.
Hi, my name is Yabojo, and you're watching Humor Hangout with Kofi the Guru.
The second half. Revolution! Moses. The long lineal line. It's lights out and away.
You're still watching U45 morning show. Are still talking about the justification of BBC about the president's certificate saga. We are now being joined by Dr. Joseph Osegbe, all the way from South Africa. Good morning, Doctor. Good morning, Dr. Osegbe. Many thanks for joining us on U45 morning show. Hello, Doc. Can you hear me? Hello, Doc. Okay, I don't know, maybe for network, that must be a network challenge. Maybe he should join us later. However, we move on. What we've been talking about is the fact that the BBC Global Disinformation team have come out to say that they have found no evidence about the president's certificate saga has become a cause and a source for concern. And this is where we are. We're wondering why an international media would come out and try to justify what many eyes have seen, that is a pointer that there are discrepancies in President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's certificate. And like we also see yesterday, we saw yesterday that the Labour Party candidate Peter Obi also said, let the president come out and tell us about his primary school and secondary school certificate. It means that people are not convinced that indeed the president can justify all of the certificates he has been presenting. And this is an issue on the front burner. It has become imperative for all eyes and all hands to, all eyes to look into this matter. We really need to take a cursory look at this, because it is not good for our identity as a people and as a country. Many Nigerians are now being faced with the challenge of their certificates. They are now checking and having to recheck their certificates again. And the reason is not far-fetched. If the #1 citizen of our country is involved in this kind of certificate problem, it speaks volume.
Absolutely, Nike. As a leader, your antecedents tends to rub off on the people you are governing, and it's not far-fetched that in some of these varsities abroad and Nigerians are saying, according to reports, that some organizations are asking them to bring their certificates again so they can double-check their identity. Quite unfortunate, if I must say. But I would like to, I don't know if you mind, Nike, I'd like to take the former Vice President, Special Assistant's
reaction.
On this issue, because he spoke quite elaborately on this issue. Let me read his position. He said, that's Mr. Frank Shaibu. He said the BBC aired in its fact check, claiming that there was no evidence that the President Bola Ahmed certificate was forged. Shuaibu, in his statement in Abuja on Wednesday, alleged that the product was part of a hatchet job aimed at turning the tide in Tinubu's favor, adding that the outrage it had solicited from the generality of Nigerians and was not enough evidence to show that BBC goofed. The article's aide said that the BBC's move was not surprising, as it was in line with a previous statement he had issued, wherein he had revealed that the Tinubu's administration was set to unleash its full propaganda program. Shuaibu said, and I quote, "Sometime last week, when the NBC, National Broadcasting Commission, issued a final warning to Arise News TV, we pointed out that the Tinubu administration was on the verge of launching a full-blown propaganda and also intimidating uncooperative media houses into discrediting and downplaying the Chicago State University scandal. Sadly, we never imagined that it would be the BBC that would become the willing tool. It is unconscionable, appalling, and preposterous that in this current information age, a foreign medium of repute could try to bamboozle Nigerians with a jaundiced report when the details are clear for everyone to see. Thank God young Nigerians have begun filing complaints against the hack writers who decided to soil their names for a bowl of porridge. We are not ignorant of the machinations of the BBC and its bias towards the current government. It is unfortunate that the BBC is not upholding the same standards as they would uphold in the UK, where a prime minister was forced out of office for hosting a party during COVID-19. In 2009, columnist Mendy Hassan wrote in the new statement that the BBC was biased towards power and privilege, tradition and orthodoxy. It is no wonder that in the last 1 year, the only news medium that was given exclusive access to interview Tinubu was the BBC. It is sickening that the BBC has decided to surrender its platform to a man who was accused of illegal drug trafficking in the United States. It is the so-called fact-check report that the BBC decided to bury in the last paragraphs that the fact that Tinubu claimed to have attended Government College, Lagos in 1970, when the school was actually established in 1974. Why didn't these so-called fact-checkers reflect on their headline? Shuaibu also said that what is the essence of the report when it failed to uncover the most critical questions? If this report was aimed at fact-checking, like they said, it should have mentioned the year that the certificate was obtained by Tinubu from the CSU, and if the one he submitted to INEC is the same one he received from CSU. Tinubu said at Chatham House that he had received a replacement from CSU when the school said in unambiguous terms that it had not done so. What was the date he applied for his INEC replacement? What was the date he applied for his INEC replacement certificate from CSU, and when was it issued to him? Shuaibu also said that the investigation was clearly carried out with a predetermined goal, which was to clear Tinubu. But let us ask the BBC if they would employ anyone who had a case of drug trafficking in the US before, and if he had 3 dates of birth in his official records, as well as 2 different genders, as well as attending a secondary school before it was established. Shuaibu urged the BBC and other fact checkers to be more circumspect, adding that their job was too sensitive to entertain errors. I mean, he said so many things. I can keep going on and on. But
I think all that Shuaibu has said is it's in line, it's in tune with what is expected, because really a media house like BBC is not expected to be used as a tool in the situation we're talking about. But then again, you also want to ask yourself, well, most of the media houses, they are out to make money. They are in business. And they might be afraid of being closed or shut. I don't know if you follow what I'm saying.
I understand.
And that's always the fear, even for those practicing also in Nigeria. If as an individual you feel that yes, you want to say certain truths, you begin to think about your organization and the problems that might come with you coming out with the truth the way it is. So sometimes they call it managing informations that you have.
According to our constitution, it says that there's freedom of the press. So are we saying that there's really no freedom of the press in Nigeria?
A leader once said that indeed there is freedom of speech. But
freedom after speech?
Freedom after speech is what he cannot guarantee. So this is where we are. Yes, you want to come out with the truth, but you're also looking at the problems that will follow that truth. I mean, like they say, he who pays the piper dictates the tune. You are just an individual working in an organization. And that's why, if you remember, I stated earlier that could it be that the BBC is under pressure to dance to the tune of the powers that be, thereby, irrespective of what, how the public is going to perceive them, they still feel that they have to do the bidding of the powers that be, because most likely if they don't do the bidding of the powers that be, they will cease being in business in Nigeria.
Nike, Shaibu said something very catchy. He said the BBC and the Tinubu'S administration have a propaganda, have an agenda. Do you agree with him?
No, well, what I know is that anybody working towards achieving a particular aim don't work alone. And now these are politicians. They didn't start this job today. It's a long time they started, and they know they are good with the gimmicks, the plans. They know how to strategize and ensure that they get whatever they want. You know, to an extent, it can be like a script. As far as I'm concerned, it's like a script writer and the producer. You know, you have a script writer, you have the actors, actresses, then you have the director. So this is how it works. It's like a circle. You alone cannot do it, and so if it breaks also, it means that it will not work the way it is expected to work. Which means that the politicians know that they cannot work alone. They need certain people to function with them for them to be able to convince the public. Because why this issue is coming again, it came before now. The Source newspaper revealed that long time ago. And this is also where we look at the kind of followers you have as citizens of Nigeria themselves. Are they really interested in truth? Do you understand? Because that's why you also ask yourself when election comes, you see them asking for a rise, asking for, okay, we have Doctor. Doctor is back. Good morning, Doc. Can you hear me? Dr. Segbe. Okay, good morning. So, we are talking about the BBC and having to justify the certificates forgery saga of President of Nigeria, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, and there's a lot of pressure from some quarters that the president should resign. First of all, Dr. Segbe, I would like for you to give us your views about this whole CSU certificate saga.
Good morning. How you doing over there?
Beautiful, Doc. Hope you good too.
Greetings to you from various Africa. We in diaspora, we have seen things going on, and we found that it's just all about political gaming. and one opponent trying to satisfy the other opponent. But actually, Nigerians here what is going on, really giving them a bad name, really giving them a bad name in diaspora here. So we had some meetings, some couple of questions. The thing is that the president should just resign, just try to claim. So because it has not been very easy for the Nigerian diaspora, so in South Africa and also in Canada, in UK. So it's really the industry. So um, it's a lot. It's a lot going around in Nigeria. So I don't know who is. I don't know why the legal practitioners the presentation. Knowing that, and they are not thinking about the future of the children of Nigerians. And when we are getting is that things are really the common, I would common privilege, the common people out there for survival. I think it's a very, very expensive. They cannot really afford maybe like twice a meal a day. Not taken. It's a lot.
Okay, Dr. Stephen Osegwe, can you tell us really how this whole certificate saga is rubbing off on Nigerians in South Africa?
No longer even before I would like to tell certificate saga came in. Most of the city, even the South African, as Tinubu was declared as the president of Nigeria, they were like having a double mind. So, but when the certificate came in, it really gave us a bad image. It's not good at all. So that is just the way nice here. Are not finding it easy because the recent 4G of not saying that it's a justification formation of the certificate. We are just waiting for the judiciary in Nigeria to say decision on the alleged forgery certificate.
The BBC came out to say that there was no forgery, no evidence of certificate forgery from Mr. Tinubu. I mean, what's your take on this?
Well, if the state university will say confirm that they have not issued any certificate to the so-called Mr. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, I think we should believe the school than whatever is. The school has the finance. Their name is at stake. They are also doing their name should any to Mr. Bola Ahmed. I think that is we should be of the school and accept what is said. See, all the lot of things going, corruption, brain, trying to justify yourself, trying to give me all kind of things are going on because political state right that talk. So my suggestion, Mr. Tinubu would like it's a do or die affair for that he has to be there. It will not exist in the future. He has to, because there is a lot of allegation going on. So that is my input. Thank you.
Stephen Osegbe, many thanks for your contribution. The network is not too friendly this morning. Maybe we'll call you again for you to have your say. Many thanks for joining us.
Thank you very much. I appreciate your good work. I appreciate what you're doing.
Thank you so much. Have a great day.
You, sir.
Well, viewers, we've been speaking with Dr. Stephen Osegbe. He's in South Africa, and he's a public affairs analyst. Unfortunately, the network wasn't too friendly. And so right about now, we're still looking at this issue. As a result of this certificates forgery saga, a lot of activities that should have commenced seem to be hanging. Just like one of the papers, Daily Trust, reported that President Tinubu is yet to reconvene FEC 44 days after inaugural meeting. I mean,
that's the Federal Executive Council. By now,
they
should have met, but you can see because the government is so distracted. There are too many things going on. The certificate,
at the same time.
Exactly. The certificate forgery issue is ongoing. They are trying to clear their, they are trying to get their goodwill, and also the economy is dwindling. There's hardship on the people. So many things happening on this at the same time, and the government cannot focus. I mean, this is and the masses are the ones bearing the brunt. It's quite unfortunate on Nigerians, So I don't know how the government will be able to pull all of this together, and then focus on what needs to be done. FEC by now should have met, So that's what I have to say concerning that.
Exactly, a lot needs to be done, and Nigerians are also looking at the present administration to delivering the dividends of democracy. But I can understand what some of his cabinet members will be feeling. Take for instance the ministers; they will begin to think about their own their stability because they don't know what's will happen, since a lot of people are also calling for the president to step down as a result of that. Well, we'll keep our fingers crossed and see how events unfold. We'll take a short break here, and when we return, it will be time for us to bring our sporting team. Of course, Sporting Mwakego will be here to tell us what is happening in the world of sports. So join us again.
Have you heard? Momo is turning 12 people who refer the highest number of friends into millionaires in the Momo Refer and Win promo. There is also over 200 million naira up for grabs. How do you win? Dial *671# to open a Momo account if you don't have one. Then select option 6 to refer everyone you know. Yes, I said everyone, because everyone deserves to be a millionaire. Make sure the person you refer opens a Momo account and buys airtime or data of at least 100 naira. The more people you refer, the more cash prizes you win every week, and you increase your chance of becoming a millionaire in the Momo Refer and Win promo. Promo runs from 15th June to 9th August 2023. Momo, better than cash.
No one sees the daunting exercises and training you have to go through to keep fit. Most times, I need to block out the noise to focus.
Even when I'm stuck, I still make moves. This isn't just any earbud, it's complete ear control. Putting this in my ear is like putting a sound studio in my ear, moving and dancing to the rhythms of the music.
Every accomplishment starts with a decision to focus. I have learned to always take one step at a time. Music is a part of all I do. When I am in a certain energy or mood, I have to distract myself and recharge.
Welcome back. You're still watching U45 Morning Show, your darling station, Super Screen. Yes, for lovers of sports and key players of sports, here is Joel Mwakego standing to give us updates in the world of sports. Joel, how you doing?
Viewers. I'm fine.
I can see that.
To be here. You're welcome to U45 Sports. Super Screen Television. We started off the story in the Nigerian NPFL League. It's week 2 of the league, and the two games were postponed just last week. Ayimba taking on Bendel Insurance and Rivers United to host Remo Stars. The game was supposed to take place last week, but it was postponed owing to continental issues. And right now, Kano is happy they're playing at home against Bendel Insurance.
Yeah, I think Ayimba is sitting least on the table, with 0 points. So they'll be looking forward to kick-starting their season with a win over Bendel Insurance. But Bendel Insurance themselves, they are not easy to brush off. So it will be an interesting game of football.
Exactly, quite interesting game. But for me, I think Kanu and his men, George Finidi, they know exactly what they want. They're just the second game of the league. So, I mean, it's too early to write off this team right now.
Absolutely. It's a marathon, not a sprint.
But sitting on the log comfortably is Sporting Lagos, right there on number 1 on the log, and you have Lobby Stars winning their first game, and also in the second game, and you have Bendel Insurance on third, and Doma United, you only promoted Doma United doing well. The team just came from the NNL into the NPFL, doing extremely well. It's just 2 seasons.
Yeah, in fact, the surprising one is Sporting. Yeah. I have a soft spot for that team, and I think they will do well this season.
Anyway, away from that, Super Eagles to no foe today. The draws for the AFCON will come up later today. You have the likes of Mikel Obi, and it's good to know Akon will be part of the, it's going to be the host for today. And Super Eagles to no foe. But a lot of people are scared, believing that we're going to have probably Morocco or Senegal in the same group with Nigerians. For me, I wouldn't want to believe the Eagles are scared.
The Eagles are not intimidated as it stands. We know that the Senegalese and the Moroccans are better in terms of rating. But I think our boys have what it takes to deliver on the continent.
Standing on 6th position, I'm like FIFA on FIFA ranking.
I mean, the FIFA ranking is, to me, it's not a true reflection of our football.
Okay. What do you think about that? I mean, like the ranking in Africa, we're currently number 6. Does it have any negative effect on the players?
Well, for those that know, you know that a lot of times when it comes to rating, it is not truly what they say that obtains. A lot of times about who are your friends, who are your associates, and what do they want for you. So a lot of times it's about you also seeing them behind and telling them this is what you want. And if you can pay what is being expected of you, why not? You see yourself at top.
Anyway,
that's what I see.
Talking about being on top, the Deaf Eagles. I mean, it's surprising to know have a team called the Deaf Eagles. They're made out of deaf people, and they have a team. Yeah, they were in Malaysia, Kuala Lumpur. They had a tournament, and they came out 11. I mean, it's quite remarkable. Now you have a Deaf Eagles. They were just in the country yesterday, and the Minister of Sports worked on that. They were so happy that they have to put Nigeria on the map.
I think that is quite impressive.
Exactly.
I mean,
really
this
impressive.
will also bring a beacon of hope to parents who have children that are deaf, dumb, and what have you. Because many of them just write their children off, other than just do any kind of job and try to make ends meet. But this is a plus, and this will also, I mean, bring joy to parents with deaf and dumb. It's about that time where you don't think because you have a deaf child, dumb child, then it means you dump that child somewhere. You just have to continue to develop them, because someday somehow they might feature in games like this.
Anyway, the list for the World Athletic Championship, I mean, best athletic, female list is out, and surprising to know Tobi Amusa wasn't on that list. I don't know what happened. Would they see that coming?
Well, it's quite surprising. I mean, Tobi Amusan has been one of the best athletes in the world in the past.
Despite our achievements and all that.
Yeah, in the past 2-3 years now.
Smashing records, back to back.
Exactly. So it's quite surprising that she's not on the list.
I don't know what we can make out of that. She's the best when it comes to athletics. I mean, hurdles, so to speak.
She's on
the list.
What? Sometimes I don't allow such, rating to disturb me as an individual, because just when you also look at the entertainment industry, you want to wonder why a person like R. Kelly for years has been singing good songs, writing good songs, and hasn't won Grammy for once. So that tells you what the politics that go on there. So she should just breeze up and not let that deter her from our vision.
Now, a lot of players, when they retire, it's either they are sport managers, some are coaches, and somebody, when Rooney, he was in school, to study how to be a better coach, and right now he's just been given the nod to be the manager of Birmingham FC out there in the championship. Is it a good one?
Yeah, good one for Wayne Rooney. I think Birmingham sits 6th on the log.
Yeah, the EFL.
Yes, and I mean, Rooney has the experience, and he was a fantastic player for Everton and Manchester United, and he has also been privileged to coach a few clubs here.
Yeah, Derby County, DC United.
Exactly. So I'm sure he'll be able to bring his experience. I mean, the club knows that okay, this young man is capable of doing this job, and then it's a good one for Wayne Rooney and his coaching career.
Exactly. A lot of Nigerian ex-players, when they're done with football, they just travel abroad and live there with their family. They don't look at coming back to be coaches and all that. What can I make out of now? Wayne Rooney, he believes he can make it as a coach, and he actually did. He was in Derby County, DC United in the US, and now back to England as a coach.
Well, I think it's an individual thing. It's about the dream that you have for yourself, and when you set an agenda for yourself, you don't get deterred. Okay, so and if you also look at it, it's about the passion we have, the passion we have for different things we do, or jobs or games differs. So, and because it differs, you have different individuals. Some have that strong, they have that strong belief in what they believe in, and it will eventually come to pass. For some of our players that you spoke about, the thing is, what is the avenue? Is the avenue created to encourage them to come on board? The answer is no. So if you want such, like we have witnessed in the case of Rooney, that it means that the government also must create that environment that you know that will encourage ex-players to wanting to be a coach.
Now, just one word. Now, being a good player doesn't make a better coach.
Absolutely. I agree.
You agree?
Yes.
Anyway, that's it for sport. My name is Joel Wakego. Thank you very much.
All right, many thanks, Joel, for keeping us abreast of what is happening in the world of sports. So, well, viewers, this is where we will draw the curtain on U45 Morning Show. Many thanks for being a part of it. I will hope that you have a beautiful day. I'm Adinke Woye Ajiboye.
And I'm Joel Wakego.
And I'm Osagi Solomon Wilfred.
And from all of us, it's a bye. Bye. Bye.